Hello. Put all my stuff in a plastic bag. This was a sketch I did the other day. Just did it because I needed to get my brain moving. This is the 60s X-Men piece that I'd started a little while ago. It's coming along. You can see that I went with the classic designs, the black and yellow. Still need to work on it some. I think that's what we'll work on tonight. We'll see if we can take this to the closer to finished. As always, you have to listen to me plug the Kickstarter that will be in November. Figured I needed to work on something other than the Undersea Hero stuff that I've been working on, so we'll draw some cool old X-Men. My first exposure to the X-Men was issue 72. I bought it at Sarge's Comics in Connecticut for, I believe, this was probably around 1992. I think I spent $10 on it back then. I think that was what happened. Iceman was always my brother's favorite X-Men character. He was never as big into comics as I was, of course, but he still liked them when we were kids. They were still like popular enough to where people would talk about them at school and things like that. Hey, Jonathan, what's shaking? We might have a guest pop in a little later. I gave him like a last minute invite to see if he wanted to come on because I convinced him to do another drawing for Undersea Hero for me. He's one of my favorite artists, and getting to hang out with him, he's become one of my favorite people to hang out with at a convention. Are you going to be going to any of the conventions that are this weekend? There's TerraCon. There's I think it's Granite State this weekend too. Now, while I did the poster art, I will not be at TerraCon. Why did I do a 1960s X-Men? Well, they offer some unique design challenges with their uniforms, and I really wanted to play with scale and do like a little action scene. And, I thought it'd be fun. My friend Craig actually got the dream X-Men gig that I would want. He got to do just a short story of the 1970s X-Men, which had like Colossus in his original design and Storm and Wolverine and everybody. That's the X-Men that I grew up reading. John said, yes, busy weekend, Attleboro show too. I definitely want to try to get to the next one. I really liked when you and I went to the last one, and I don't know. I really I love small comic shows. I like that it's not an all weekend affair, and people are nice, and there's good books, and I don't know. That's the type of fan experience I still really enjoy. Like even though I'm sure they're going to ask me if I just show up and buy a ticket if I'd set up, but I don't know. I like just hanging out sometimes. Dude's got to find some dollar books for himself sometimes. I was actually just talking about this the other day. It's been so many years since my LCS had a dollar bin. Like ever since I moved to south of where I used to live, um, no dollar bins. Shocking. So shocking. We've talked about it many times, Jonathan. As long as they're good, I'm cool with $2 bins. I'm cool with, just make them good. For whatever reason, in the original X-Men, Iceman had boots when he was in his ice form. I have not been to the store in ages. I'd hoped to get last week, but did not happen. Just pulling up some reference real quick to make sure I'm remembering things correctly. Looking at the reference is not as exciting, but it has to be done. One of the things I like using about two different colored leads is like if I step away from a drawing like I did with this piece, I can go back in without having to erase everything and do revisions that are still erasable for when I ink. I would say the sketch cover is average as far as like the paper quality. It's one of the older ones. It's kind of slick, so we'll see how she reacts. Yeah, Rubber Chicken had $2 and $3 bins. I have reached the point where I don't really have interest in collecting issues that are priced per book anymore. Like I'm not collecting for like the value of the books. That's just an ancillary benefit to me if it exists at all. I just want to read the books, man. I actually was able to buy, there was a dealer that actually had to pop by the office the other day, and I actually bought um, a reader pack of the old Fantagore Press Den comics, the Richard Corbin stuff that he self-published like in the 80s. I was reading that, and that was really exciting stuff. Entertaining. Ethan's in. Hey Ethan, you're making spaghetti and meatballs. Nice, nice. Do you have a secret family recipe that we can share with the universe here? I feel like everybody has a preferred recipe at least. My wife makes really good tomato sauce. So, Ethan says his mom does, but he's using freezer meatballs. Real ones take all day. Jay Kennedy's in the house. Artist on such comics as Sabrina, the Teenage Witch. Jay Kennedy will be at TerraCon. If you've got anything you want to promote, Jay, feel free to drop some links or throw some photos in the chat, whatever you want to do. I'm sure you've been cranking out some pieces to have them available for the show this weekend. And it's Terracon, so like you should do really well with your horror comics and everything. I suspect you will have an excellent weekend, sales-wise. Jay, you're gonna do great. You'll be fine. Are you gonna have copies of your Sabrina book at the show? Does that come out? Has that come out yet? I don't even know if that's come out yet. I know that the other one did, the one that I got a copy of, the camp one, the new title, the new Archie book. Sorry, I don't remember the name of it. You'll have to throw it in there. Camp something. Sorry, I don't keep up with the Archies all that much. So you will have it for the show. Okay. Camp Pickens. There you go. See? You have to forgive me, the brain's a little fried. Let's get some of our inking tools out and see what decides to work on this pitch cover. Make sure we got our trusty brush pen. We're going to need some of those smaller pens this time just because of how small some of these drawings are. So hopefully it creates a nice piece of there. Yeah, Jay will be there, friend of the show. Ben Goldsmith will be there. He's got his Seance Room books. I did a variant cover for one of his recent installments where he wrote a crossover with Hack Slash. I don't know if he'll have the cover I worked on at the show, but I know he'll have copies of that book. Michael DeFonte is here. Hello. People are popping in. Are you also making spaghetti and meatballs as Ethan is? I only ask because you're both on YouTube, so I just assuming that everyone on YouTube is making spaghetti and meatballs right now. Oh, Michael had some earlier. 2 for 2. I'm just looking up, trying to find a close-up of Beast in his Silver Age digs. I should have grabbed one of my trade paperbacks before I came on. Yeah, for a while there, they were reprinting all the Silver Age X-Men stuff pretty regularly. Now it's a lot tougher to find. Okay, so there is a little bit of an eye slit situation. Thank you, Shane. Good to see you, man. Robert, look at that. And Lewis, we had a whole bunch of people just pop in. What happened? What happened? Did everyone get back from their storm prep in the New England area? Getting the bread and milk ready? Oh, thank you, Lewis. I'm sure you've been running around like crazy getting ready for all of your panels this coming weekend. We mention the Angry Geek Show whenever we can. So, but if you want to throw in a link or anything, feel free. All my friends are welcome to promote whatever's going on this stream. This is a See that line doesn't have a lot of bounce to it. That's one of the things that I have reasons I've stopped using those as much. I did post the artwork for the poster yesterday. Thanks for everybody that hit the like or sent a comment my way. Oh, speaking of Michael, speaking of the YouTube stuff, we're heading towards 200 subscribers. We get to 200, we'll do another sketch cover or original art giveaway at that point. I know I still have to send you your. I think I still got to send you your Undersea Hero copy. I was just hoping I'd run into you before I had to mail it, but we can get that in the mail. The people at the post office now have basically just anytime they see myself or the missus coming with a giant pile of boxes, they just open another lane because they know that it's going to take a while. I was still looking at tracking numbers, and people who got shipped stuff last week are still receiving things. It's fascinating how the USPS is entirely inconsistent. There was a person in England who got theirs in like 3 days, and then there was a person in uh, the Eastern Seaboard that still hasn't. It's not even like out for delivery or anything. So Lewis says he will have a huge guest announcement hopefully soon for the Angry Geek Show. Last episode I watched, you had a cosplayer on. Trying to remember, it wasn't your usual. It was your special guest. I think I'd seen her playing Rogue at some point at a show. I believe that was the young lady. Thank you, Rich. Rich Wentworth. We are getting the comic artist royalty. Here we got Jay, we got Rich Wentworth, artist on books like Rom Space Knight, a book which I continue to enjoy more as I get older. And I really like that. What was the Tale of the Talking, like the giant head strip that you posted? That was really good. I like that. It was just weird enough. Just weird enough. I mean that as a compliment. Like it stands out. It's not a. It was well drawn. I liked the like the depth you gave it, even just with that like loose pencil work. It was nice. Lewis Perry says it's one of Eric Yako's customers. No, I'm not doing the back on this one. I'm just going with the front. Let's get our brush pen going because most of this stuff was inked by guys like Dick Ayers and stuff, and they only ever used brush, so. The thing with the throwback X-Men. Hey, Ashley, how are you? Thanks for popping in. Thank you. It's a bit of silly fun. But I still love drawing, so it's something that just I wanted to do. Thank you so much. Hope the kiddos are having a good day, as well as you, of course. Is that Patrick Flaherty? Pat Flaherty is a member of the Boston Comics Roundtable. Yeah, thanks everybody for popping in tonight. I missed a comment. Pat says, thought you'd like to know that the Atlantic magazine mentioned the animated TMNT movie last week, and Eastman and Laird got mentioned in the very first sentence. That is good. It's good that they acknowledge the comic people. Because everybody knows that I've definitely personally tried to get the good word out about comic creators, trying to get them recognition. Wow, lots of people in the stream tonight. Welcome any new people. Let's see here. Ashley says, they think the cover looks fantastic too. My Rogue and Gambit cover is showcased in my office, and I absolutely love it. Well, thank you so much. I was thrilled that you got it, and you know, Gambit and Rogue are absolutely excellent characters that, at least when I was first reading the books, and the cartoon show, that was the intrigue and the romance and the character development with them. The tragic love story. Oops, I bumped the camera. I'm sorry. More comments. Pat says the turtles could do lots of surfing in the sewers this week. Sigh. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of rain. Lewis says they're going to be doing more comic panels. Well, that's good to know. I agree with you there. Anytime I get an opportunity to spread the good word, that's what I try to do. But some of those decisions are far above my pay grade. I draw pictures and stuff, make silly comments. Ashley says their love story referring to Gambit and Rogue always spoke to her. I'm trying to remember who they were trying to get Rogue to be in a relationship with other than Gambit more recently. It's been a little bit since, because I kind of stopped reading, strangely enough, I stopped reading during the Hickman run, which people seem to really like, and I'm thrilled that they have their X-Men and they enjoy it, but I definitely stopped the momentum reading just because it was X-Men. And I'll follow certain artists. Like I picked up the Alan Davis stuff that came out, which was really good. He did like a one shot in there. Lewis says, love the cosplay contest ad, by the way. Yeah, I thought it'd be fun to draw my little monster characters that I came up with for TerraCon, dressed up as the Scooby-Doo gang. Shane asked, do you have favorite X-Men characters? Oh, absolutely. Colossus was always my number one character. He was the artist of the group, and he would much rather get in the way of a blow from an enemy or take damage for someone else than hurt anybody. And I wholly acknowledge and admit the Kitty Pryde stuff, especially early on, was a bit creepy given their age difference and things like that. So I was glad that when they recently were like teasing that they were going to get married, that did not happen. I actually quite liked how the Ashley says she's got to go. Wanted to see my amazing work and can't wait to collect more. I wonder if you are also having spaghetti and meatballs. We've had 2 people tonight have spaghetti and meatballs. So Pete Holmes did a series of YouTube videos, 10 years poking fun at X-Men, including Gambit, hysterical. Lewis says, a bit? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Well, if you look at where their relationship went during the Warren Ellis run of Excalibur, and the irony is not lost on me that it was written by Warren Ellis. But Kitty Pryde actually became like a whole person. She was leading the team, and she put Peter in his place. Like she completely did. It was like, no. She was dating a character named Pete Wisdom at the time. I don't know if anybody else remembers that character at all. But they were like, can we do like a British Shane had spaghetti. See? Ashley's having noodles. So we have 3 out of 5 having spaghetti tonight. I guess I should have made spaghetti instead of having takeout food, but I might have been late for the stream had I been cooking. She had a thing for Pete's. That is correct. Jessica says that she and Ryan had chili. Shane says he read that Excalibur run. They had a Days of Future Past story that I liked in there. The future of England, seeing it from their perspective. That was an interesting story. At least I thought it was. Excalibur had some really nice little bright spots. Overall, it's not a great series, but there are some really excellent reads tucked in here and there. There's that random 2-parter in the middle of nowhere that Joe Madureira, young Joe Madureira, drew that was just terrific. There was a Barry Windsor Smith issue that Bill Sienkiewicz inked, which some people, including Mr. Smith, has expressed a disinterest of, but I just find it fascinating seeing those two superpowers of creative force, those two forces in comics, like how their stuff looked together. One of the things I liked about Hank McCoy is he was one of the few characters allowed to have a little fuzz on him. Ethan says he loves it. Thanks, man. Well, yeah, if you have a YouTube channel and you have not subscribed, like I said earlier, at 200, we'll do another original piece of art giveaway. Shane asked if he ever told me about having Joe Madureira at his store. No, I have not heard that story. I'd heard of other artists coming to your store, but not Joe Madureira. So you'll have to tell me that one at some point. I've never actually really met Joe. Like he had an artist alley with him. I've gotten a book signed by him, but he was like kind of distracted. He was talking to somebody else. So I wouldn't even say even though I was in his presence, I said hello to him and he said hello to me. There wasn't even really like a meeting. Joe Mad and Tony Daniel, like X-Force era Tony Daniel. Is that what we're talking about here? Hey, good night, Lewis. No, I will not be there this weekend, but good luck. Hope you have a great show. I'm sure you'll do a wonderful job like you always do. I do not have a paper towel. There's a piece of one. Oh, right before Age of Apocalypse. A defining storyline for a lot of people. It's not a favorite of mine. It's not. You'd think it would be, just because of how old I am and, like, when it came out. It's not one of my favorites. And this isn't like hot take police, it never has been one of my favorites. Yeah, that's a great description. It was a summer blockbuster. It was not like a prestige movie or anything. Yeah. Yep. Excellent description. Fun, but not great. And I've told this story many times. I was so confused because I had a subscription directly from Marvel at the time. And I was not buying it off the rack. I was just getting it in the mail. And if you were getting it in the mail, they never sent you like the Alpha and Omega books or anything like that. So I had no idea what was going on. It was just next month, a whole different future world story. That was the extent of it. That was the extent of the warning, was like literally the little blurb in the back of the comic book. And it wasn't even much of a blurb, I would say. I'm trying very hard not to noodle on this thing. Like, my default is like I'll get nervous and I'll add a bunch of lines. I have to not do that. See, we already got to go to like the teeny tiny little. Because this is on a sketch cover, that this is actual size. I got to go down to like these teeny. Look how small these things are. It's tough to even see these things. Fitting an entire team on a cover that is print size is tough. It is for me, at least. I don't know. Some people maybe specialize in drawing real small. I never would have made it as a, like a scrimshaw artist or anything. Ah, but that's super cool that you had those guys at your store, man. Had no idea. Had no idea. You had definitely mentioned other artists. I'm trying to remember who they were. You were telling me about it in Cleveland. It was not Joe Mad. I'm hoping to be back at Gem City next year. I have no idea if I will be back at some of those uh, fan expos. Ethan says his niece does earring and necklace embroidery. That sounds very tedious and very small for the tools. Like, I don't know, is that the kind of thing where you have to wear like a loop, like an eyeglass in order to do it? I don't even know. I don't even know how you do it. Michael says, I've not tried it yet because it's expensive, but I saw the new Platinum Kiro ink. Platinum Chow Kiro ink, the blackest ink I've seen in the video reviews. It's good at being waterproof if it dries completely. I've never used it. Never used it. So if it works, let me know. You know me, I go with the Black Star matte, and it's not the cheapest, but it's not $60 a bottle. Patrick asked if I will be at MICE in 2.5 weeks. You volunteer each year. No, I won't. I will not be at MICE. Yeah, I honestly haven't been invited back in 15 years. So is Jay here? He can tell me why. If he's on double secret probation with the round table. Maybe that's why. Because I generally assume that Mr. Mazer sees us as a team, and if Jay's on double secret probation, then Jay, you still in here? He was in here earlier. That sounds about right, Pat. I don't blame you. I would go back to mice for sure. Yeah, if the opportunity presented itself. I think Pat, you and I actually hung out at before it was the mice show, back when it was the zine fair. I think you were there because Kathy was there, Dan was there. If anyone hasn't read Kat Lemmy's book, Geraniums and Bacon, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It's just such a wonderful, honest piece of work. Just tremendous. And it's deceptively simply drawn. Michael says, I also fell in love with using G pens made with titanium. They have a gold-like appearance. I've never used them. I'll have to find a picture of them. Oh, Shane says he sent me a picture from the signing. I can't wait to see those. You know, if you guys still had your store, I would fly out there just to be at your store, right? Yep. Patrick says I don't hear from Kat Lemmy. Admittedly, dropped a few swear words last year on BCR's Discord about NFTs. Desiree's here. Hello. No baseball game tonight. I saw that picture from those seats. Those were good seats. Desiree says she's getting her hair done. Hey, thanks, Pat. Thanks for hanging out, man. It was good to talk to you. You do the same. Trying not to make Cyclops too bulky. His nickname is Slim, so the other thing I like about these pens, these Kuretake ones with the flexible tip, is that like with these little teeny pieces like this, you can kind of fake it. You can kind of fake a little bit of feathering with them. You see that? You see that line right there? He's right here. That's like a little bit of like faked feathering. It's not real feathering, but is this X-Men just for yourself? Yeah, it's been a challenge lately. So I just wanted to do something fun for myself. And I started this a little while ago and I haven't been able to finish it. And I asked myself if I would have more fun starting a new thing or finishing this. And I always get more satisfaction out of finishing stuff. I've been finishing those prelims for Undersea Hero. This was the only other drawing I did was of my character Helena. And that was just so that I could like, I don't know, I played baseball, so like I tend to think of things in terms of sports terminology. And it felt like from a drawing standpoint, I was getting what in sports is called the yips. And that's when a for non-baseball or sports people, it's like when an infielder forgets how to throw a ball to second base. Uh, Joe Rebelo is here. Hey, Joe. Joe says, "Hi, folks. Love the design. A sharper, more traditional comic book format for you with this one." Oh, thank you, Joe. Yeah, I'm trying to simplify it a little bit so I don't noodle too much, because I'm used to when I read these characters dressed like this, they were drawn by, the greats like Kirby and even Alex Toth did an issue, Don Heck did some, and they would definitely keep it much more clean, and the designs would have just a simplified look to them. Podcast Preview says, "Wow, hello, Podcast Previews. I don't have a podcast, but I do this stream every week." Desiree says, "Simone Biles had the yips in competition once." Yeah, the classic example that I point to if you're a baseball fan is like the Steve Sachs or the Chuck Knobloch second baseman who were like 5 feet away from first base and they'd still somehow sail the throw into the stands. And I was just drawing stuff that, like, honestly, I kid you not, like I was just drawing lines to put lines in places, and I wasn't doing what I was capable of doing. I wasn't thinking as clearly as I needed to be. So I was finally, I self-diagnosed it as the yips. But it's a term that, maybe non-sports fans don't know. So sorry for the long explanation. I just like when a pitcher forgets how to throw strikes, in the middle of an inning or a game or whatever. But even just defining it as that helped me like pull through and be like, no, you have to do this, this, and this. It helped me to think through the drawings that were in front of me. So like writer's block, yes. Yeah. Yep. Totally an apt way to look at it. Ethan says he's watching Ryan Reynolds and Free Guy right now. It's so funny. I can't see Deadpool 3 next year. Deadpool 3, I'm looking forward to that as well. Oh, we might have a special guest in here. Hello.
Hey, man.
How are you?
Doing all right. Yourself?
I'm doing all right. I'm trying to noodle my way through this cover without butchering it too badly, but that's
Yeah.
how we do it.
Is an X-Men cover? Is like a commission or something?
Yeah, this is just me drawing something for myself after working my butt off.
Oh, okay.
Just doing it for fun. And yeah, I don't know, are you one of the artists like myself that just has a big box of blank sketch covers at home?
I do, and I never draw on them.
Yeah, yeah.
I keep meaning to. I got about 8 of the new Conan comic.
Okay.
I'm thinking I should do some of those, but haven't yet.
Is the paper on that any good for the Titan ones? I hadn't even seen them.
I think it's about as good as it gets.
Okay.
So,
well, everybody, this is John Lucas, and he's a tremendous artist, and he's worked on a zillion books that are like Deadpool, X-Force. You did some Conan work. You have before Houdini. What was the one that you did? I just saw the trade at my shop the other day. Not Death Rattle. It was
Slow Death.
Slow Death. Yes.
Yeah, the Slow Death 50th anniversary, I guess. So put out Slow Death 0.
And I have suckered John into working on some stuff that I put out, and he did this lovely cover for me for the Helena first issue. I know we're still waiting on the second one, but John, I bugged the other day to do a piece for Undersea Hero. So he's going to do another piece for us, which I'm super psyched about. He's got a Patreon. He's got a Whatnot, which there are links in the description if you want to check out his stuff. He's got a big Ghost Rider piece he's doing. Is it tomorrow?
No, it's Sunday at 2 p.m. Central.
Sunday.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, and I put a couple other like little sketches and stuff that I'll complete and put up there. And then there's a Howard the Duck sketch that I'm going to give away to somebody.
Hey, look at that. Giveaways.
Yeah. I've had people recommend to me that in early shows I should probably give some stuff away. And I'm not that, so.
Is it on one of your like little sketchbooks or a cut piece of board or?
It's on like a little there's a printer that I go through for my sketchbooks and my prints, and just threw some stuff in for nothing one time. He took some 8.5 by 11 cardstock and printed like a little illustration that I had on one side and left the other side blank, so I could do them as sketches on them at some point, I guess.
Oh, nice.
And I noticed them the other day, and I thought, well, I guess now is as good a time as any to use these.
So what else you got on the board these days?
Well, I'm doing for that British kids comic Monster Fun that's put up by the same people who do 2000 AD, all the Judge Dredd stuff. I'm doing a regular strip for that. And I've started work on a couple of books for a smaller publisher out of Texas. One of them is something that James Hong, the actor,
Okay.
he was in Everything Everywhere All at Once. He's the old man. And he was David Lopan in Big Trouble in Little China. It's a concept of his. And a buddy of mine and he and I have worked up, together on things in the past. He's writing it and I'm drawing it. It's I think the working title of it is Little Yellow Riding Hood.
Okay.
So yeah, it's sort of an unofficial sequel to Big Trouble in Little China with a young girl, female protagonist who wears like a yellow raincoat with a hood on it. So it was his idea, Little Yellow Riding Hood. I'm just along for the ride.
You're the art machine on that one.
I guess so. Yeah, I've done a couple of illustrations for it. There was at a convention in Austin not too long ago. James Hong was a guest, and they did some mini comics or ash cans for it with some of the artwork already on it. So I should be getting some of those before too long.
Ash cans. Those are that's a blast from the past.
Yeah, isn't it? Isn't it? So yeah, I have like a cover and a couple of pages of artwork that are in that. So I mean, I'll be interested to. They just mailed them to me the other day, so I'll be interested to see what it looks like. But the guy who colored it, I liked what he did so far.
Oh, so it's
Like
even a
real
color
nice,
ash
bright,
can.
sort of Big Trouble in Little China type colors.
Okay. So
And
it's
they're
like
like villains have like animal heads, like a rat and a tiger, and a wild hog head. So there's going to be all types of crazy stuff, and it's going to take place in Chinatown, of course.
so it's like the Zodiac, the characters. Is that?
I guess so, or I guess in maybe the yeah. I get what you're saying now. The Chinese astrology. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a little slow on the uptake.
Oh, that's all right. I was just shooting from the hip, so I don't even know. I called you in at the last minute.
Yeah. I just got back from my wife's has an aunt and uncle in town. I guess he's not real. It's family relations are so strange because it's her aunt's husband, but they got married when my wife was an adult, so it doesn't really count as an uncle, does it? It's aunt's husband. There's no word like aunt or uncle for an uncle that becomes your uncle when you're 30 something.
Yeah. They have to forget at least one of your birthdays growing up to qualify, right? That's
yeah. Like my dad is married to another woman, but she's not my mother-in-law. I was in my 40s when they got together, so she exists as the woman my dad's married to.
Okay. First name basis, at least, probably, since we're all adults. Yeah. Oh, cool, man. What was Memphis the last show you did? I know you've advertised a couple of shows you've done.
No, lately. Memphis is happening in about 2 weeks. The last show I did was Fountain City, which is in a town. It's one of those satellite communities of Kansas City.
Okay.
So, and then Wichita, the show that I've talked to you about maybe coming down for, that's in end of October. So.
Okay.
And then that's it for conventions this year, I think.
That's enough, right? That's enough.
Yeah. I do about 5 or 6 a year, I think.
Yeah, sorry, I missed out on. Couldn't make it to Denver. I would have seen you in Denver, right?
Yeah. I did the Denver Fan Expo, which was my first time doing that one, and the first Fan Expo show I've done in probably a decade.
Yeah. Fan Expo shows. I don't know. I did pretty well at some of
that. Yeah, was carrying a lot of weight.
Well, no. I mean, some of them. I mean, honestly, some of them, like the one down in New Orleans, was phenomenal. Like it really was. Like I did great there, and the people down there were awesome. I would say.
I'd like to get down for that one just because it's in New Orleans,
Yeah. I was sorry I missed out on Denver because I'd heard nothing but good things about it for years. Like everyone's like, "Oh, that's a good one to go to. You should go to that one." So
yeah,
we'll see if they let me through the door again.
Yeah, I did okay. I think it was just one of those where nobody was by. There were a ton of people, and I did okay.
Yeah,
but they gave me my table, but I had to pay for my room and travel.
Mm-hmm.
So that puts you so far in the hole that it was impossible to dig out. And I think it's been so many years since I've done a mainstream book that I wasn't really selling what anybody was buying.
Yeah. Well, you usually have a pretty good setup. You got your trade paperbacks, and you got you got your binders. You had, I think the last show, I don't know if you've probably sold them out by now because you had them on eBay. You had like haunt pages you'd done for Image, the Todd McFarlane book.
Yeah, no, I've still got a ton of those.
Okay.
I can't give those away, man.
Hey. I figured
nobody knows about or cares about the haunt.
I mean, it was Kirkman and it was McFarlane, so you'd think that people would be like, "Oh, okay."
Well, this is after them. This is when Joe Casey and Nathan Fox took over.
Oh, okay. All right.
It was kind of, what was that show that Jack Tripper from Three's Company? He had a show after Three's Company. You know, nobody remembers that one.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
No, not a big fan base for the Ropers.
Okay. Oh, we might have a question here. James Hong rocks. Fun title to work on, says Ethan. Desiree says, hello, John Lucas.
Hello.
A Journey to the West motif is what Joe Rebelo says.
A Journey to the West motif?
Yeah, that's what he says.
Okay.
I don't know what he's saying, but, you know.
I could be polite and pretend that I know what he's talking about, but I just don't have it in me.
That's all right. It's late. It's 9:00 where we are, so, you know.
I just spent a dinner with my wife's aunt and a guy she's married to.
Did you at least have something good while you were hanging out?
Oh yeah, it was fine. No, I'm making it out like it was something tough to do. It was not. They're nice people, and they had a dog there. And if there's a little dog or a dog for me to hang out with, I'm solid, man.
Yeah, we know that you're a big fan. So
yeah, I got to feed the dog some of my hamburger and scratch it up. So
oh man,
that was worth the price of admission.
It has to be. It has to be. Like I don't know. Are you a fan of cats also, or just dogs?
I like cats, but I'm one of those people who's so allergic that my face just turns into like a catcher's mitt, like those cool catcher's mitts, like from the 20s and 30s. It just closes up, and
it's literally just a giant leather circle for people who don't know baseball.
A big, weeping, worn catcher's mitt. Yeah. So, but I had a cat growing up, and what's crazy is I wasn't allergic when I was real little. When I hit puberty, I became allergic, and so I had a cat and was terribly allergic to it, and it lived to be 22 years old.
Wow. Okay.
So I would, and I left and went to college, but I would come back, and by that point, the cat was old and nearly blind and deaf, and so I would walk up to it and put my hand in front of its face, and I love the cat. And it would smell me and get so, come alive. And so I'd have like an hour-long petting session with the cat at my parents' house. And meanwhile, I need a respirator. But it was my cat. So, I had to suffer. I'll never have another cat again because of that. But,
Interesting that it went the other way. Usually people get less allergic, right? Isn't that usually you grow out of being allergic to stuff?
Not that I've heard. Everybody that I know, I'm an old fart now, as you can tell by all the gray. The people that I know older than me have always told me that as you get older, your allergies get worse.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So,
I get that to look forward to.
I think you can acclimate to an environment kind of, but I think just like with everything with old age, your body just says, screw it. You can't eat that anymore. You can't run up and down stairs anymore. And, all of your allergies are going to kill you.
I think my dad's been saying it since he was probably about my age to me. He's like, getting old sucks, kid.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I won't bore with the list of specifics about what it's going, but yeah, it does.
No.
But and that's the thing, when old people tell you, oh, it's the best time of your life when you're young, they don't really get into the specifics, like enjoy dairy now because eventually you won't be able to have it. Eggs, enjoy them while you can. You might not be able to eat them. So
I've already run into the dairy, so I'm holding out for eggs though.
Yeah.
Have to take the
maybe you'll luck
before.
out. Maybe you'll luck out.
Lactate before ice cream, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So diarrhea wasn't where we thought we were going with this stream.
No. But we try to keep it family friendly, but it was more.
Hey, everyone in the family gets diarrhea at one point. So diarrhea is family friendly. Maybe not friendly, but. And everybody drops out of your stream. I'm the stream killer.
The numbers are just skyrocketing after that, I'm sure.
Don't say rocketing, and I won't say stream.
But it's weird. I don't know if you experience this with your Whatnot streams or anything, but like, I don't know, it seems like the algorithms push it in waves to different people. So like at any random point in time, like 11 people will hop on, 2 people will hop off. It's just interesting when I look at like they even on this, I use a program called Restream, And I've
Uh,
never seen the back end to a Whatnot stream, so I don't know what it looks like. But on this one, they give you the full analytics of how long people are hanging out, and
yeah.
so
Yeah, well, I
pretty.
just started. My first one was this past Sunday, and that was an accident because there's a way that you can do it where you can do it privately so that you can practice, work the bugs out or whatever. But I was
Yeah.
struggling so much, trying to figure it out that by the time we finally got it going, I had neglected to hit the private thing. So it starts out with my wife and I looking at the camera like this. So you hold the hand like, I think this is working. And then I reverse the angle, and Mindy, she's gonna work with me on it because if the way the comments come up in text, hey, there's me.
There's you.
It comes up in text. She'll read them to me so that I can get the things while I'm drawing. And she said, "Oh, we're live. People are hopping on." So I had to just sort of scramble and did a couple of quick head sketches. But so the first official one is this coming Sunday.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
I
but
mean,
the calamitous accidental first one is still up if you want to watch. If you want to look at my nostrils as I wonder at this golden age of technology we live in.
we know how much you enjoy technology.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, I know you mentioned you had some work to do tonight, so I don't want to keep you too long.
Right on, right on. Yeah, I didn't realize I was going to actually be on something. So
Yeah, I figured it was just to say hello and
yeah,
plug your stuff and get people to
okay.
check out your work because I'm a big fan of it, and
Well,
it's
I
just
thank you, sir.
I don't know, it has that wonderful quality of like being well informed in the traditions of comics, having a dynamic animated feel, a
Oh,
graphic sensibility, and then just like the beautiful inking that you put with it. So like,
oh, thanks. I'm going to need a bigger hat.
hey, hey, I do much better when I can talk about other people, especially when it's 100% what I, you know, completely believe. So,
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Well, like I said, I sent you the message. The undersea thing is a lot of fun, and the art is gorgeous, especially that first part with the sort of old school colors.
thank you. And that's what we're
I mean,
going with. So,
I say old school, but it's a nice mix of old sort of approach with new sensibilities, and it has like a nice cartoony bounce to it.
yeah, thank you. And that's the hope.
Yeah.
So, well, have a good night, my friend.
All right, man.
I will bug you. I will bug you soon. Thanks for
Okay,
coming
cool,
on.
man. Well, thanks, and it's good talking to you. And I'll take all the diarrhea talk with me.
All right. Good night,
All
John.
right, all right. Talk to you later, bud.
Bye. Uh, well, that was a nice surprise. We got to hang out with John Lucas. I do. I love his work. He's a really nice guy, and yeah, if you do the Whatnot thing, check out his stuff. It's his first official one this weekend. I keep being told that that's the frontier for creators as far as like selling their artwork and doing stuff. But I don't know. I do invite artists on here. I was just glad that John took me up on it and got to hang out and hear about his stuff. You didn't have to hear me talk the whole time. You can see when you erase, some of it gets like pulled off. Desiree's got to go. Time to get rinsed. Just wanted to say hello because I missed most of the last one. Cover looks great. Thanks, Desiree. We are noodling away. I don't know if we're going to finish it tonight because of all my yapping, but I'm having fun with it. I really am. Which X-Men character is my favorite out of the ones on this cover? Probably Hank McCoy, probably Beast. I always liked Beast. Because in the 90s he was he was the science guy. He was not, after a certain point, everybody thought it was clever to make him a jerk. Um, which I didn't agree with. Like I always thought that Hank had his demons, but like especially if you read those Amazing Fantasy issues, the ones that are right before Killraven starts. Yours is Angel. Yeah, you like Warren. Is it just the cool wings, or do you like Warren as like he's the I don't know what the best way to describe him was. He was kind of like the support guy. What do you think? What's the best way? How would you describe Angel on the Silver Age X-Men? I know one creator who has a cruel description. I won't say what the creator is, but I'll share his description if you want to hear it. I just always liked Beast. I always thought he was a cool character. Ethan says they're making Beast an evil character in the character right now, and I hate it. Yeah, they do that like every few years, and they think it's clever, and it's not. Like they tried to do it in the movies. They tried to do it in all sorts of places. But yeah, Archangel was great. Like if you were gonna make a character a jerk, Archangel made sense because he was like mutated by Apocalypse to be this bad dude, to be one of the Horsemen. Michael says he's going to dump Photoshop and Premiere Pro. Right now I am sub to Adobe Suite, but I'm looking for alternatives. I only use Photoshop to batch reduce the size of TIFFs. I'm looking to test Affinity for replacing Photoshop and a free version of DaVinci to replace Premiere Pro. Is it just a cost saving measure? Is it cost saving measure? Yeah, I totally get it. The one thing that I would say to keep in mind with Photoshop, there are older versions like CS2, I think, and CS3. There's CS2 or CS3 that Adobe itself posted online when it took it off of the main server, and they actually offered that one for free. You can honestly do most of if you do standard comic book coloring, you can, and you don't use the blend mode or any of the crazy stuff that they've added over the years. You can still color professional comics with an older version of Photoshop if it's explicitly a cost saving measure. So that version is out there and it is completely legal. So I haven't tried DaVinci. Trying to remember. There was a different program that was free that was public, and somebody had me try it out. I can't remember which one it was, but it had a lot of the same features. It just didn't have some of the like slicker parts to it that Photoshop has. Right now, he colors in Clip Studio Paint. I do most of my digital comics on Clip Studio. Unfortunately, it does not reduce to the thousandth place, which I need for certain printers. The thousandth place. Not sure what you need that for printing standard comics, but whatever you need, man. I hope you find what you need. You gotta have the giant floating Professor X head, you know. It's like required. Clip Studio I've messed around with, formerly known as Manga Studio. It's a good program. And then what's the one that's only on iPad? So imagine Undersea Man. I assume you mean Undersea Hero. Getting so big it crosses over with the Pacific Rim franchise. Sure. It could be fun. Big monsters. I could see where you're getting at with that. At this point, I'm just too nervous about the whole thing as far as like getting it done and people buying it and liking it. That the first book. I have a hard time even imagining that stuff. So Procreate, that's the one. Like I said earlier, my brain's a little fried, so you know how it is. It's Wednesday. We're in the middle of the week. Been helping prep company I work for a convention this weekend. It's yeah, my buddy Craig actually draws like whole comic pages in Procreate. Like he'll do the whole thing, start to finish. I'm intrigued by it, but I'm also like, I don't know, maybe I'd be able to use it for layouts and then print out stuff, but then, you know. And I was lucky to have a lot of my friends show up here tonight, so I gotta say it's is it a banner evening? I don't know. We'll call it such. It's a banner evening. right, we gotta switch back to this like teeny tiny pen again, just because of like the characters are getting even smaller as we go. So Ethan, I'll try not to mess up Angel here since he's your favorite character. When I was a kid, they had like X-Men trading cards were very popular. I remember in one set they had like interconnecting ones for the original X-Men. I feel like they did every gimmick possible for the X-Men when I was a kid. So free comic books with pizza, free comic books with Blockbuster video rentals. Like they had every giveaway under the sun to get people to check out X-Men comics. And they were such big sellers that these big corporate entities would look at the sales numbers and they would even like they would pay Marvel very large amounts of money to do custom comic books. Ethan says he misses his X-Men card binder. Oh, there was beautiful art in those. They had great painters. You had Joe Jusko. Excuse me. You had Dan Brereton. I think Bisley did some. Julie Bell. Boris Vallejo. Heck, even one of them got Steranko to do some paintings. I mean, that should tell you right there how much they were paying over, market value to have those things produced. Yeah, they were super popular when I was a kid. I'm not sure how old you are, Ethan, but I think we're not too far off in age. Maybe we are. Maybe I'm, misremembering. For some reason, I thought we were closer to the same age, I guess. Trying not to over noodle. If I don't get this done tonight, I don't know when I'm going to have time to work on it. kind of bumming me out a little bit. So get as far as we can get tonight. I don't know if we'll get it done. It's already 9:30, but we will try. Ethan says, I was the kid that would not read a book or a novel if I did not like the cover art. It took me forever to read The Hobbit for that reason. Oh, man. Gotta wonder which version of The Hobbit you got, because the one that I got as a kid had like a beautiful like watercolor cover. There's just so much cool stuff in that book. Why would you ever have a boring cover? I'm very sorry to hear that. I mean, covers sell books. It's just a fact. Like, and that's why like people like Frank Frazetta, um, if he had any paintings, whether they had anything to do with a book or not, publishers would buy them and have an author write a book just based on whatever the heck he felt like painting. Here's had a realistic, short, fat hobbit in a swamp. Weird, man. Why would they do that? Why would they? You have this book filled with these amazing landscapes and characters and everything. And you just have a boring cover, man. Now, having worked in book publishing also, I do know that there are some publishers that will sub-license a book and have no budget to pay for a cover. I'd be interested. I wonder which version you had and who put it out. Obviously, it was before like all the movies, like live action movies and stuff. They had the animated ones that came out like by a company called Rankin Bass, and they did like all those Christmas specials, like the California raisins and stuff. Ethan says his favorite art from The Hobbit is Smaug on his mountain of money. Mine is actually the author J.R.R. Tolkien did a series of watercolors of The Hobbit, and there is one the where Bilbo is on a barrel riding into Lake Town, and that's actually I have a print of that hanging in my hallway just outside my studio that my father got for me one Christmas when I was a kid, and I've always loved that painting. Lake Town was the village below Smog where the Battle of the Five Armies or whatever occurred. You had the birds, you had the orcs, you had Ethan says he loves the writers who are also the artists. I enjoy that as well. I love singularly authored works. Yes, he was a linguistics professor. That was his thing. I bet by the end of the night that at least a couple hundred people have been in and out of the stream this evening. That's pretty cool. I know it's not a convenient time for anyone not in Eastern Standard Time, so anyone who had to make special arrangements to be here, thank you. What do you think? Is that Angel okay? Since he's your favorite on the cover here. Michael says he's thinking about using Morris Publishing for a printer, my next book, and any reprints. Have you had any luck with them? I have not used them. I don't believe I have, no. Not for any of my personal stuff. I mean, maybe somebody I worked for used them, so I wouldn't know. Like sometimes I don't. It's funny. Sometimes a comp will show up, and I'll know who the printer was just based on the print job. Like these were done with RA and Robinson Anderson, and I thought they did a great job on them. And the color reproduction was really good. Slender size. I'm gonna have to ask the Iron Face guys if they would come on and we would do like a walkthrough on the comic book. Were you not happy with your last printer? Is that why you're bopping around for other printers? Yeah, see, he had boots. I was not crazy. Look at that. He was like a snowman with boots before they made him more sleek looking. The art chemist pops in and says hello. Says great work and hi to all in the chat. Posted that one just because we're on multiple platforms. So Michael says he thought they printed a little too dark, the last printer. If they're printing digitally, and this is just from years of experience and having printed my own comics before on a digital press, on a web press, and just a copier before, you need to lighten. Here's how you combat that. And sometimes it's the machine, sometimes it's the printer, sometimes they should have known. But like when you're setting up your files, you need to peel your line art off, anything that needs to be dark, like pure black. If you have anything at all that needs to be pure black, peel that off and have it on its own layer. And then when you're getting ready to set up your files, convert it, make sure it's all in CMYK, put a color overlay on your line art with rich black, which is cyan 45, magenta 45, yellow 45, and black 100. Okay. And then you're going to rasterize that layer so that this color is that layer, your line art, everything is this color. And then you're going to set that layer to multiply. And then the color layer that's underneath it, you're going to lighten it 11%. And then you merge these two layers. So you have this that'll be very dark, and this, which is your everything underneath it, will be lighter. And then when it prints, trust me, it prints closer to the screen when you do that. I know that sounds crazy, but trust me, I've been doing it for a long time. I can type it out for you. It's a something I can basically do with just keystrokes now, and I don't even have to look at the screen. Like I can just do it. I've done it so many times. Now, some printers you only need to lighten it like 8%, and some you actually need to take it up to like 12%. So, I mean, it's usually 8 to 12. If you have a printer that prints really dark and they don't clean their machines and they don't do anything, go to like the 11 or 12. If it's just a little dark, do it 8 to 10. And it's funny, like I've done that. I once had a printer tell me they were doing my books offset. I was like, great, cool, that's going to be wonderful. Here's the files. I have them all set up because working at a print shop, I know how to set up files. It's the one thing that no matter what, I am not going to screw up the color of my files. I might. One thing I am guilty of when it comes to setting up my files is I will put my cuts a little too close. And that's because I used to cut these things. And if you're using a cutter, like a charger or whatever, that's a two button cutter, you're looking at the cut as it comes down, and you can make adjustments as it's happening. But that definitely takes like a little bit more attention than sometimes they have time for at the print shops if they're busy or whatever. And also, like, it's my book, so I'm kind of like doting over it or like over functioning, or I'm helicopter printing my books like a helicopter parent, I guess. And I would make those adjustments. Like if I needed to add like a 0.05 inches to a cut, it's still going to fit in a standard comic book bag and board. So that's what I would do. I would add a tiny bit of space to it just to get the cut that I wanted. Because in a digital printer, the paper shifts. And when that happens, it's not just on one. Like there's drift, which is like this. It's when the paper moves in this direction. And then there's shift. That's when it goes X or on your Y or X axis. Drift, you can't do anything about. But shifting, you can actually account for. Usually in the RIP software, if they're using Fiery Command Workstation, which is like one of the industry standards, you can absolutely nudge things one way or another with, pretty much any digital printer that's out there these days. We use like mediocre at best Konica Minolta machines where I worked. And you had to clean those things all the time, and their developers would break down, their corona wires would pop all the time, because photocopies are just melted plastic. There's no ink involved. Which is one of the reasons why, if you get your books digitally printed and you look at the fold, there's two ways to fix the fold, and that is, you see that? I don't know if you can see that. There's a little bit of cracking at the fold, and that's because it's plastic. Okay, there's no ink here. You can either put up with a little bit of that, which is actually my preference, or they'll crimp it. You can see that there's like an edge to this. That's because they crimped it because it has a thicker cover. But even here, I personally think these were digital, because you can see the edge right there, the edge where these are brand new out of the box. And I tend to think that these are, there's a test I could do to check it, which I probably should do. Another thing that's funky about doing variant covers is sometimes they will print the inside offset with the rest of the books, and then the covers will be digital, and then they're marrying the two. After the fact, they will put a digital cover on an offset printed book, because if they're able to store the pages, it'll save them a bunch of money to just print a whole bunch of the same interior pages. That also depends on what finishing equipment they have. Thanks so much. We're just having fun tonight. We're just drawing. People who, if you just popped in, artist on X-Force, Deadpool, Conan, X-Men, Starman, John Lucas popped in. He's going to be doing a piece for Undersea Hero, which I'm very excited about. If I could, just win the lottery, he'd be one of those people that I just pay to make comics all the time. I would just pay him to make. I would have him, yeah. Whether it's Helena or Undersea Hero, he just is. He has such a wonderful balance and humor to his work, and it's so informed, and it knows the traditions. This stuff's so good. I mean, it's crazy good. Got an Iceman on like an ice slide back here. I saw that piece of yours, Saint, oh god, I just saw it. What was it? You just posted a new piece of artwork. That looked really nice. Sorry, my brain's a little fried at the moment. God, what was it? I just saw it like this afternoon. Well, it's 9:51, and I think I'm pretty tired, so I think we're gonna call it a night for tonight. I'll work on Gene. I'll get Gene Gray done on my lunch break tomorrow. I'll find a way. I know my lunch breaks have been busy with dealing with other stuff lately, but I'll make tomorrow a day I can finish this thing. But yeah, thanks so much for everybody for coming in tonight. Very active and exceptional group of folks that came in to say hi and tell me about their week and check out what we were doing and talk to one another. So it was really nice. Yeah, I can. If it comes to Mike, if you need print production help, I'm happy to help. So, as Howard Chaykin likes to say, I live to serve. Although I do sense some irony sometimes with Howard. But I hope you have a lovely evening. And yeah, Ethan, I hope the spaghetti and meatballs was great. I will see you all next week. So have a good night, everybody.